Hey, happy, beautiful, amazing day. Dr. Bob Rakowski here. April 30 of 2020 with our SARS-CoV-2 update. If you've looked around at all, you will hear the question, was COVID man-made? And there's plenty of experts that are suggesting it was. You know what? I don't know how long it will be before we ever really learn that. But Newsweek published just this week a story about Fauci. And here's what the article said. But just last year, the National Institute for Allergy and Infectious Diseases, the organization led by Fauci, funded scientists at the Wuhan Institute of Virology and other institutions to work on gain of function research of bat coronaviruses. Now, what does gain of function mean? It means that they make these viruses stronger and greater in their ability to affect and infect human populations. And Fauci somehow really loves to spread fear. And here's what he said within the article again, and within a news conference again, because as I've said many times, and I'll repeat it, the worst is yet ahead for us. Now I'm thinking the us is him and his colleagues, not the rest of us, because certainly things seem to be looking up. It's pretty well known that people can either be motivated by faith or fear, and fear is a powerful motivator. Fear gets your attention. Fear is how the media captures you to sell you things, and just do your own research on that. Fear is definitely a powerful emotion. But let's look at the worst pandemics in history. And we'll go back to 1967. They actually had the Marburg virus, which was from a bat. 81% fatality is what they were claiming. 478 deaths. I have to think about that. Why only 590 infected? If it would go from human to human, it seems that it would spread more than that. And then we'll come down to this most recent one where, granted, this was put together right after China with 2,900 deaths, and they said there was a 2% fatality. But let's look at the data. Just this week it was released. New York State population, 19.5 million people. And then they've done some pretty good studies, and they estimate that nearly 15% of the entire state population is infected. And that gives it a 0.006 fatality rate, which is, not that much. And by the way, if you were to compare the flu, which we've done before, there was all talk about this flu being possibly one of the worst ever. And I'm not talking about this COVID thing. I'm talking about the seasonal flu. And just like that, seasonal flu deaths disappear. Why? Because they were being categorized as COVID deaths. Now, I've talked about analyzing data and seeing, what is the death rate? And economists say if we know the death rate, we know the population, we can predict it very, very accurately. So we have it for the US going back to 1950. Basically, it was 8.88 per 1,000 at the start of 2020. That was what was projected. But I've been watching this all morning. We're talking about several hours, and I can't get an update on the births, deaths, or population from USA Live Stats. It's stuck. It's not giving the data. By the way, I'll show you Worldometer. That clicks like a digital clock. It goes up every moment with birth and down with death. But at any rate, Oxford looked at Italy and what they found. And basically, Italy was falsely categorizing or wrongly categorizing 88 of 100 deaths. 88 of 100 deaths they were calling COVID when they weren't COVID. So we look at the world population, the world death rate, and then we can look at Worldometer. I'm going to encourage you to go to Worldometer, and you'll watch that again. The current world population goes up, 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 up by the moment. The deaths go basically up, up, up by the moment. So this was a screenshot. Here's our population, basically coming up on 7.8 billion. How many actual deaths do we have? Right there from Worldometer, 19,380,447. If we used a projected death rate of 759 per 100,000, or is that tenths, hundreds, thousands, tenths, yeah, per 100,000, 759 per 100,000, we would have our projected deaths to date. And we see that that's very close, within 16,000. So the reason I put that in there is because they're saying, you know, we're dramatically underestimating the COVID deaths. Death all over the world is up. Well, that's kind of true. If it was 7.59 instead of 7.60, it'd be up. But if it is 7.60, it's exactly on schedule, exactly on schedule. Not to minimize the virus, it's really bad if you're older, 65 and sick. What if you're under 50 and healthy? Almost a non-issue. So I like this quote: hope is the only thing stronger than fear. And you know what? We have to have the hope of what we see and let our eyes teach us. If you look at New York, somehow New York has more people dying than anywhere on the planet. I compared it to London the other day, very comparable cities. New York is just crushing London in terms of death. How about Stockholm, Sweden? No restrictions. New York is crushing it. I wonder if their data is off. Hospitals are losing money. Healthcare workers are being laid off. The economy is shut down, and Barack Obama went golfing the other day. YouTube that one. He went golfing. Even though his state is shut down, you know, they opened the golf course for him to go golfing. Pretty fascinating. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion, but not to their own facts. It's hard not to get political when we've got political people that are pulling strings that just doesn't make any sense at all. But let's make our own sense. Let's look at the facts. I mean, really look at the facts. Do your due diligence, and then make the decision that's best for you and your family. I'm Dr. Bob Rakowski, absolutely knowing that we can all be happy, healthy, and successful.